Hi everyone, Inclusive Model Designs here with part 2 of the Bandai 1144 scale Millennium Falcon build. So in part 1 we were prepping the top half of the ship for weathering, and now the first stage of weathering is complete. Again, that's just using those 502 Optilong paints. If you haven't seen part 1, go back to part 1 and then come back, and then this might make a little more sense here. So the first stage of weathering is done. As you can see, there's quite a big difference, between just the paint and then the weathering. So prior to painting the bottom half of the ship, I did the rest of the damage. In the first video, you've seen the damage there, but I added more right there, some blaster marks there, and a little bit right there. There might be a few other little spots here and there, but just showing you the obvious ones. So I primed it in gray, and then I used the insignia white, and then I put the decals on. Again, normally I don't usually use decals, especially for panels. I like to paint them in, but with the decals being what they are with this model, they were pretty nice. So I put the decals on, let them dry, and then they kind of chipped away. As you can see, there's a little bit of little chips off of them. And then I use a flat clear coat, and I put quite a bit on just because I will be adding the weathering. I don't want these lifting up, so I put quite a bit of flat on. And it helps too, makes these decals not look shiny. If you've ever put decals on any model, you kind of see that it gives a bit of a sheen. The flat takes the sheen completely away as well, which is what you want. As you can see right here, they almost look like they're kind of painted on. I don't think they look like decals at all. So now that it's all dry, this will start to accept the weathering now, which is the same step as step 1, is using those 3 right there. And I'll do the same technique as the top. Use the odorless terpenoid, put a little bit on, and then dab the different colors, and then brush them on, and then just do it for the entire model where it looks like that. As you can see, there's no brush marks, and sometimes it leaves a nice little streak like right there. I mean, that's perfect. That's what you want. You also have to consider too, this being the top half of the ship, water and streaks will go down. This being the bottom, they'll go towards the center, I guess you could say, because that's where gravity will pull it, right? Not this way, it'll go this way. So that'll come into effect when we do more of the rust streaks. So we'll get into that later, but just keep that in mind. So as you can see, there's no defined brush marks or anything like that. And this is just the first stage. There's still 2 or 3 more stages to go in weathering. And this has been drying for a good couple of days. I don't know if I'm going to touch it yet. I really want to make it, on there. I don't want to use the terpenoid again and then take off all the detail that I just put on. If that's the case, I might have to go again, do another flat primer over it, and then do another stage of weathering, and that'll guarantee that it's not going to get kind of washed out. But we'll deal with that in a bit. So there we go. Now, how are you going to display this model? We'll determine what ramp you use. Now, because I'm going to have this on its landing gear, I'm going to use this ramp. You can see it's a bit curved, as where this one is more for in-flight. So just be careful which ones you choose, because you do have decals to put on. So obviously I chose the ramp being down. I haven't done anything with the cockpit yet. I'll get to that in a bit. But these pieces here are also weathered. As you can see, I put the decals on there. So they look really good. So that's weathered. The bottom part of the the tunnel is weathered. Now it's just the matter of working on the bottom part of the ship. And once that's all weathered and stuff, we can work on the little side pieces and then start to put the ship together. There's obviously a few pieces here that need to go on. They'll have to go on later because you can only put these pieces on when you're constructing the guns. So I don't want to put that on now and then have the guns just kind of hang in there. So these little pieces here will have to be weathered individually, like similar to this. But we'll get to that in a bit as well. So there we go. That's part 2 of the Millennium Falcon build. Basically kind of just showing off the work and what it looks like when it's all completed. Don't forget to, I'm going to flip this over. So don't forget to do these edges as well, because these pieces will show, because when you get the detail pieces around, there's a bit of a lip here, so don't forget to do the underside, at least as far as that line here. You don't have to go further than that, but just right there, so don't forget to do that, and as well right there on both sides of the ship. It's the same thing. So just don't forget about those if you're weathering and building the model, because that'll need to be detailed as well. So thanks so much for watching. That's part 2, and next video will show the bottom part of the ship weathered, and then what we're going to do next. So thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy your comments. Thanks so much, guys.